congratulations on the film. I loved it. I laughed the entire way through.
Fantastic, thank you.
Early Man has been brewing in Nick Park's brain since 2010. How did you become involved in the project?
Well, I met Nick about 8 years ago at some event, and we were both very, very nice to each other. I said, I love what you do. He said, I love what you do. And he said, I'd love to work with you. And I said, well, yeah, I'm there, say it. And then years went by. And then I think about a year ago, maybe, the call came in and my agent said, the Aardman have been in touch. And that was it. I said, well, whatever it is, I'm in. So I was going to do the message board. And then when we were in doing that, we were having a lot of fun with it, and he said, would you look at these other characters, Brian and Brian, the commentators? And, my attitude was, yeah, well, whatever you want, I just love to be in a Nick Park film. So we did those as well, and it was great because with the commentators, I would sort of improvise a few bits just to try and make Nick laugh, really, in the studio. I'm not sure how much of that has ended up in the final cut, but it's a lovely idea, these two guys in their own little box. Such an inventive, clever, witty film, there's so much invention in it. That's the thing when you watch it. So much imagination has gone into it.
And as you said, Brian and Brian, they felt so familiar to me growing up in a football-obsessed house. And you said you had a bit of improvisation there, but were they based on anyone in real life? Or?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think they're written based on John Motson and Alan Hansen. I think that's, clear to see that those are the two inspirations, yes.
Brilliant. And obviously not content with 2 characters, but you've got 3 there. Your other character, Messenger Bird, who mimics Queen Ufifa. Did you work from Miriam Margolyes' voice, or was it a case of just finding your own?
No, I would hear Miriam had already done her bit, so they played me her voice, and then I would try and mimic her voice, which was great fun to do, because obviously Miriam is a one-off, and so it was. I remember when I was in the studio and Nick was explaining it to me, and I was saying, "Oh, this is fantastic! I couldn't wait." But so the Message Bird is my favourite character because I've never seen anything like it before, and all the little facial expressions that the animators have given it are just wonderful.
And you regularly contribute to radio, and you've done many a voiceover in your career as well. Why do you think the audio form is so powerful, especially with regards to films like Early Man?
That's a very good question. I think that it's all about the casting, and in this you've got amazing voices from Miriam Margolyes, and then in Doug's Tribe you've got Richard Ayoade, Timothy Spall, Johnny Vegas, Mark Williams. There's some very, very distinct, different voices. So I think it's very well cast. With Tom Hiddleston as the baddie and Eddie Redmayne. Eddie sounds like a goodie, and Tom can sound like a baddie. So I think the voice casting was especially good on this film.
And I remember as a kid, I watched so much Wallace and Gromit that it was silly. What's your first memory of Aardman?
My first memory of Aardman is actually Creature Comforts, where they animated those real interviews with zoo animals. And I thought, wow, who's this? Who's done this? And then the Wallace and Gromits. Like everyone, I don't think I've ever met anyone who doesn't like Wallace and Gromit. And that was a big part of the appeal, to work with the man that had made that was very enticing.
Rob Brydon, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey